Peace everybody, back with another video. This is about your 14th Amendment. What the state, the governors, and the crooked politicians are not allowed to do. What they are doing is totally against the amendment. They are not allowed to enslave us. They are forbidden to us to enslave us because we are sovereigns, and they are not allowed to hold us prisoners. So this is your 14th Amendment right here. The 14th Amendment addresses many aspects of citizenship and the rights of citizens. The most commonly used and frequently legiterated phrase in the amendment is equal protection of the laws, which figures prominently in a wide variety of landmark cases, including Brown v. Board versus Board of Education, Roe versus you know who, and productive rights, Bush versus Gore, Reed versus Reed, and so on and so on with the rest of this. All right. So now, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction, therefore are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person with its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So that means your mayors, your governors, your states, they are not allowed to tell us what to do. They're strictly forbidden. That's why we don't work for them. They work for us. So that's what it's really about. And what the news media is telling you is full of crap. This is why I don't watch the news media no more, because it's all biased. They're lying to you every day. They're saying, oh, well, you got to get the vaccines. No, you don't. They are not allowed to force anything on you. They're not allowed to enforce vaccines. They're not allowed to enforce imprisonments of your own home. You have a right to go out and to go to work. So you got to learn your 14th Amendment. Section 2. Representatives shall be appointed among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed, but when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for President and Vice President of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state of the member of the legislature, therefore is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged, except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the bias of reputation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state. So the voting age is 21. It's not 18, it's not 15 or anything. It's 21. All right. And appointed among the several states according to representative numbers. You have a right to vote who you want to vote. Even though these crooked politicians, they're handpicking who's going to be president and who's not going to be president. That's what they're doing. They're going against the Constitution. The 14th Amendment. They are not allowed to do that. Representatives of Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, of the members of the legislature, therefore, is denied any of the male inhabitants of such states. So they're denied of that. They cannot say, well, you've got to vote for. No. They're denied of all this stuff. They cannot be allowed to tell you what to do. All of us sovereigns are free. We are not enslaved to them. Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president, vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state, legislator, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies. Therefore, but Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. So that means they are not allowed to do what they want to do because they're all evil. No person shall be a senator or representative of Congress or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state. Also, let's see. Yes, so they are supposed to uphold their rights in it, but since they're not doing that, the governors, the mayors, and whatever else, they're not upholding your rights. They're taking your rights, and you can't allow that to happen because of this 14th Amendment. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. The only time that the mayors and governments get involved is when if there's like a bad crime or whatever. That's the only time they can get in. But other than that, they're not allowed. They're strictly forbidden to hold you prisoner against your will. You have a right to go out. You have a right to go to your job. You have a right to do whatever you want. We're all sovereigns of the United States. We're all God's children. And God is not going to allow these fake politicians tell us what to do. He's not. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and boundaries for services, is suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned, but neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States, or any claim for the loss or emancipation of any slave, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. So they're not allowed to hold us prisoner. It's illegal. It's forbidden in the United States. It's strictly forbidden. They are not allowed to tell you, oh, you got to stay in a house. You got to take this. You got to do that. No, they're strictly forbidden. This is why the 14th Amendment is so important to everybody, that you have to do what the 14th Amendment says. Don't do what the fake politicians, the governments, the state and mayors are telling you, because they're not your friend. They're your enemies. That's who they are. They're your enemies. The Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. So they're supposed to protect the 14th Amendment, but they're not doing it because they don't care. They want to break everything. Sovereigns are free. We are not their prisoners. I'm not anybody's prisoner. I could do whatever I want because I'm free, and the 14th Amendment I go by. I don't go by what the news media tells me. That's why I don't watch TV except for my shows. So they have no right to tell you what to do. People are sick and tired of them. People do have a right to protest against them. People do have a right to see them out of office because they're evil. And people do have a right to do their own thing and think for themselves. And without you thinking for yourselves, you're going to keep listening to these big bullies that are telling you what you can and cannot do. Would you wake up, please? Because you are so dumbfounded by these fake politicians and these fake news media that they're going to keep you in fear for the rest of your life. Remember what God says, have no fear? Remember that. So go by the 14th Amendment. Forget about these damn politicians and fake news media. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're all lying to you right in your face and you don't even care. Leave your comments below. I am out.